Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. 45 minutes to the airport?
That was a lot for here.
It was about 15 minutes longer than it usually would be.
15 minutes longer than it usually would be on an awful traffic.
Using 50% words.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is I got people online telling me that because of Formula One, that it was taking them an hour to 2 hours to get home from the strip. And I said to them, where do you live? Because I don't know anywhere around here that it would take you 2 hours. It was literally 50% longer. But yeah, and think about it. If it took them 2 hours, that means it normally takes them an hour and 15. There's no way. There's no place around here unless they live in Pahrump, which some people do.
I know, but you're not going to say, oh my God, it took me 2 hours to get home from the strip.
But at that point,
in Pahrump.
But that's my thing. You chose to live in Pahrump and work in Vegas. I'm not feeling bad for you.
I feel like the people who live in Pahrump and work in Vegas are smarter than that.
Yeah, I would think. It just was bizarre how bad the traffic was.
You know what was even more bizarre? The airport itself was fine.
It was fairly empty, actually.
It was actually really empty.
We pulled right up to the curb.
And he was right there.
Didn't have to wait at all.
Got in the car.
Yeah, it was
strange.
Weird.
Is that the strangest thing that you've encountered lately?
Unfortunately, we had to spend a lot of time down on the strip during the F1 preparation. We had a lot of recording to do. I mean, our YouTube channel's blowing up, and so we're over here busting our ass recording things, and we didn't really experience that much of a delay.
We weren't even on the strip. It was having to drive past the strip that was our problem.
Like I said, it was about 50% longer. So if someplace took 20 minutes, then it would have taken 30. If it took half an hour, it'd take 45. But this 2 hour stuff is a bunch of crap.
I was saying it took us 3 hours to get to the airport.
And I hope they understand that if they're trying to fool the city or the county, that these people have trackers in the ground that can tell them how long it takes a car to get from one point to another. And they use a license plate reader.
They know how bad the traffic was.
And it's just people get all mouthy and they want to win the argument. But there is no winning the argument because, like when we were talking about the economic impact,
right?
All people want to talk about is the revenue that an X place made. Right. How about the jobs that were created that weren't there before, that those people are getting paid a minimum $20 an hour?
Right.
Probably way more than that.
The thing that I saw was they were looking for ushers to lead people up and down the stairs.
Yeah, that was late in the deal, though. They
were paying $25 an hour.
Wow.
Was the rate that I saw.
If I didn't hate stairs so much, I would have done it. Great way to be able to see some of the race cars.
Oh, I know.
And make money.
You got almost the whole F1 experience. Because we were only going to pay for standing room only tickets anyway.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because then you got to direct these fools. And it's like picking up the glasses tonight. I just need to be able to navigate while wearing them. That's it.
Then she was like, middle vision.
That really is what it is. It's intermediate. Right. It's not short. It's not long. It's intermediate. But the whole point of getting it, I can look away and see stuff in the distance and record it. That's not a problem.
Right.
But who's going to record something so far away with those things that you ever do that? It's stupid. I'm not going to record, I don't know, the MGM Grand from over at Excalibur on the corner. I'm not doing that. It's too far away. Got to get closer. Stupid. Anyway, it's like that. These people do dumbass things, and then they get an attitude when you tell them, what are you talking about? Oh my God, I can't stand people.
I read something today that's more ridiculous than everything you just said.
I bet. You'll read the most ridiculous things on earth.
It's so ridiculous that you better put a seatbelt on.
All right, I'll get my talkies.
No, I didn't say talkies. I said seatbelt.
And I said, I'll get my talkies because this won't be good.
I don't want to copyright infringe anybody. Anyway, my grandma is pregnant. She's only 46, so we were pretty excited at first. But now she's claiming my husband is the father. I don't know what to do. He does spend a lot of time helping at her house. I can't believe he'd plow my granny, though. We have to wait a few months for a paternity test. If it's his, would the baby be my aunt, uncle, and stepchild? It's also worth noting that my husband is both my brother and my uncle, and my grandma is his grandma too, and also his ex-girlfriend. I'm really not sure what to do. And no, this is not a stupid joke. This is serious, so please refrain from rude responses.
First of all, I 100% believe that's a joke.
Hillbilly shit right
He had a roommate who was from Utah, and his brother was his stepfather.
Did his actual brother marry his mom?
His brother married his mom.
That's illegal in most places.
I'm telling you, it was a mess. It sounded like how they read it. That so-and-so's uncle was this person's father, who was that person's child. And you're like, how the hell? I mean, it's possible that's real, but I'm telling you, just the way it's, come on, who says I can't believe my husband would plow?
My granny.
But anyway, what do you want to talk about?
I wanted to tell you about the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever read on the internet.
Well, we're going to assume it's real for sake of discussion. How about that? I say that stuff like that's morbidly evil because we're all focused on the fact that Granny's pregnant. But how about we focus on the fact that Granny seduced your husband?
Oh, but she's his ex-girlfriend. And my grandma is his grandma too.
Please.
No.
My head is broken.
I'm a member of a group on Facebook called and we're playing The Sims. Mostly because the people in that group, they're just the most
high
entertaining.
and they're playing The Sims.
Right. So anyway, sometimes the gameplay gets a little awkward. And this sounds like that. Like this kind of shit would happen. That you end up with aunt, uncle, stepchild, ex-granny shenanigan.
Lots of incest going on there. It's disgusting. I don't like that. That's really nasty and creepy.
What the hell is happening in this place?
But who still want to know who says I didn't think my husband would plow my granny? Who says that? Who uses the word plow in general to reference banging somebody?
There was a certain generation of people that plow was their derogatory dicking word of choice. I know it's from the past. Maybe it's the older millennials.
Old.
Maybe it's the older millennials. Elder emos.
No. I don't know. But
maybe it was a Canada thing.
People, you know what I was just going to say to you? Probably was, because anytime we ever have something where I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? And you just know that it's for real. And I can tell when you know for sure that it's for real. And then I'm just like, okay, it has to be something that we didn't have that you had, or vice versa, whatever we're talking about. But I have confirmed that this is a thing too. So no one's going to tell me, oh, it's always been this way, or it was that way when I was a 2-year-old and now I'm 85. I call bullshit on that. People today are willing to accept the dumbest explanation. All we hear is those stupid cackling women on The View screaming and yelling about how some certain somebody is a big old fat liar. And then the guy that they worship lies to your face and they make excuses for it.
Of course.
And it's interesting that truth is no longer truth. Truth is what you make it, not what it is.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think that needs to stop.
I completely agree with you.
Because truth is the thing. It is a thing. You're either being truthful or you're not. And you can't suddenly decide that it's true. And you know what bothers me is when you actually look at the situation and you look at the facts of a situation, and for sure, this is the truth. A is the truth. And then they insist B is the truth.
And then 6 months later, B turns out to be a pedophile.
All along. They never said B was the truth.
And I specified pedo because I couldn't think of something more evil in the moment.
But nowadays, everything is on video. All you do is pull up the video of what they said, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The Gen Z statement, show the receipts, is like perfect. The receipts exist for everything now.
But they don't accept the receipts. They insist that the narrative is correct and that the receipts are wrong.
I just said that their statement is awesome.
I really don't want to go into politics in this show, so remind me. But there's something I'll tell you off the air about something that happened to the press secretary, and it's just proof of the point I just made.
I'd rather live in hillbilly hell with crazy people like that post that I read to you than deal with
some of the reality. And no, you're not wrong. You ask yourself, how is somebody, both your grandma
and your husband's grandma,
and
your husband's ex-girlfriend.
How is that possible? Oh, and now it's his mistress too. How is all that possible?
Wasn't bad enough that your husband plowed your grandma?
You made your grandma your girlfriend. And now your grandma's pregnant by you, which means you had sex with your grandma.
The moral of the story is that child is going to have
And
a
that's
hammer
called-
foot and a cleft palate.
I don't know, man. I think society's doomed. They're not going to question it. They're just going to believe this crap. And you'll be able to tell people that 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It equals whatever you want it to.
73 1/4.
That's it. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Still a bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.